Why did crypto crash today? We're going to be looking at some key reasons and maybe a secret reason. Is it all Jim Cramer's fault? Time to go around the blockchain. All right, everybody, thanks for joining. I see the chat is going crazy already, so make sure you go ahead and hit that like button if you're interacting, because we got three of the best guests in the industry today, folks. We're going to go ahead and lead with Matt Snyder. Matt, how are you doing today, man? You're looking sharp as always, and I'm ready for those sharp takes.
I appreciate it, DZ. It's good to be here. Happy to engage on some of the crazy news that's been going on today, and looking forward to the conversation.
All right. Also on, we have OJ Jordan, and this time he has not only switched hemispheres, he's traveled to all different planes on the globe. OJ Jordan, you've been all around. Is the Earth flat?
What a question. No, man. No. Sorry to disappoint. Sorry to disappoint.
All right. Well,
no,
he was in Cyprus. Yet. Yeah, you're in Cyprus last time, and now you're in Buenos Aires, correct?
Yes.
All right.
I'm in Argentina now.
And he didn't fall off the edge, folks. And then also we have Crypto Blood holding it down. And Blood, did the Bloodalytics lead you to, did you have a short open before the crash by any chance?
At 7 o'clock this morning, baby.
Ooh,
so we're short 7 pairs.
All right.
So
the Bloodalytics indicator. Oh, you're in 7 right now?
Yeah.
Good job, man. Good job. All right. Well, let's talk about Bitcoin's birthday to lead the stories here. That's right. 15 years ago, Satoshi mined the Genesis block. And you're saying, wait a minute. But the paper and the Genesis block, there's a little bit of a gap there. The paper actually released on Halloween. So, now we're coming in a little bit more than 2 months later. But we're going to just throw out some fun facts. And you know what? Maybe I even show you my show notes here. So just some fun facts. All right, well, before the mint, of course, we had the white paper. That was released October 31st, 2008. The unit is named after the founder, Satoshi. That's the smallest unit. One of the first major purchases, Laszlo paid 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas from Papa John's. I think they were just pepperoni, too. Vitalik's first job, one of his first jobs, side job working for Bitcoin Weekly. As a writer, ended up becoming one of the lead editors for that. What did he get paid per article? 5 Bitcoin. Vitalik was paid. We can share these notes. 5 Bitcoin per article. Later that year, he ended up founding a Bitcoin magazine. We also have another fun fact. We had James. He threw out 7,500 Bitcoin in a hard drive in Wales. He's currently still trying to excavate the landfill. And then, of course, Silk Road shut down more than 10 years ago when the government seized 170,000 Bitcoin.
Hey, DZ, I used to gamble a Bitcoin a roll on Satoshi Dice.
Oh, my God. A Bitcoin a roll. Now, that'll lead me to my first question. It's Bitcoin's anniversary here. It's Bitcoin's birthday. It turned 15. It's going to be driving next year, Blood, so we're going to have to watch out. What was the early days of Bitcoin? Did people yell at you from the sidelines? Don't gamble this Bitcoin away. It's going to be worth more. Don't use it to buy anything on Silk Road. Don't use it to gamble with Satoshi Dice.
There was no one on the sidelines to even yell at me. It was crickets, DZ. No one knew about it. They didn't understand it. I tried to explain it. No one could grasp the concept because no one, first of all, DZ, can grasp it, at least definitely back then in 2013. No one even understood what fiat money was. So how am I going to get someone that doesn't understand the monetary system to understand a whole new, entirely new infrastructure? It didn't happen, man. So back then, you either had to know what you know or not. And then it just wasn't what it was.
When you were gambling a Bitcoin a roll, how much was Bitcoin at the time?
Dice. Like 80, 89,
okay.
$90.
Okay, not super crazy. And those who don't know, Crypto Blood is an OG. In fact, still wading through his Mount Gox claim. If that gives you any insight into how long Blood has been in the industry. Now, Matt, I want to ask you, you've actually written a book on Web3, how to invest like Warren Buffett in a Web3 world. I'm getting the title. All right. Did I get it?
Warren Buffett in a Web3 world. Yeah.
Warren Buffett in a Web3 world. So I want to ask you, you definitely have some insight into Bitcoin's history, what it's done in the previous 15 years. Do you have a favorite Bitcoin factoid. Is it 15,000 Bitcoin buying 2 pizzas? Is it the landfill? Is it Vitalik? What's your favorite factoid here?
Well, my favorite factoid was basically a friend of mine and I were nerds playing Diablo 2 and some other MMORPGs around the time of high school. And we had this crazy idea like, oh, we can get some of these Bitcoin things and pay for some of the in-game items that we wanted to pay. So one of the great things to see in the Web3 gaming space right now is the ability for these tokens to actually have ownership, which they didn't, 10, 15 years ago. And again, we all should remember that this token and this movement came as a result of the financial crisis right after a lot of the bad things that had happened with regards to collateralized debt obligations and CDOs and mortgage-backed securities. And so people were really sort of fed up with the way that the financial system was being run. And this person, Satoshi Nakamoto, released this new movement and this new way for people to engage with each other without the need for an intermediary. And as somebody who's a finance nerd and somebody who sort of deplores the archaic system that we have right now, this was a fantastic use case in being able to be your own bank and being able to circumvent some of the powers that be.
All right. And speaking of powers that be, there's people saying OJ was actually innocent. The powers that be did him wrong. His kid did it. But OJ, I know you're guilty of something. You're guilty of liking Bitcoin. I want to ask you, what is your biggest Bitcoin scandal in your eyes? Is it Mt. Gox? Is it Silk Road? Is it ordinals? What to you is the biggest scam? Is it the Elon video they keep sharing?
I think the biggest scandal, at least since when I'm in this space, the biggest scandal was the forking. When 2017 started.
17, yeah.
Everyone got really scared about the forking because we started having this big dispute between the big blockers and the small blockers, and we didn't know what's going to happen. And SegWit, then SegWit 2x was proposed, and then things were getting messy, and there was a lot of FUD, and everyone was actually quite scared. I remember pulling a lot out of Bitcoin and going into Ethereum for the kind of just to be on the safe side, and we just didn't know. It was a precedent. We didn't know how is the forking going to happen and what we're going to end up with. Is it going to destroy Bitcoin as it was and stuff like that? Luckily, it didn't really do that much damage. It did some damage though, but not too much damage. And for me, since I'm in this space since 2016, this was the first time that I had this kind of a big scare of what's going to happen with Bitcoin. Since then, nothing really phases me.
All right. Is Craig right, Satoshi? Is a question for the chat. We're not going to have... Oh, he's a little litigious, but I don't think he's going to come after us. All right. We have a little picture here. Hey,
I wouldn't doubt it. I hope not, but...
Happy 15th birthday, Bitcoin. Of course, it started at, fraction of a penny. They were like, all right, well, let's figure out some electricity costs. Kind of landed at a penny early. So now we're going to go around the blockchain and chat. I'm going to ask you first, what is Bitcoin's price 15 years from now, 2039, beginning of January? I'll go ahead and I'll start. Then I'll go into Matt, OJ, Blood in that order. That is so hard to determine. We're going to have not quite 4 cycles, so 3 3/4 cycles from then. So we have 1 top, 2 top, 3 tops. Oh my God, touching the 4th top right there. 150, 250, 3. I mean, I'll say we'll be pushing 500,000, potentially even 1 million of Bitcoin. Matt, what is Bitcoin's
That's
price?
That's a big jump now, Deezy. You got to narrow that bad boy down.
750. I'm going to ride the middle, take both sides.
Okay.
That way, no matter what end, I come out ahead. All right, Matthew, what is your Bitcoin price prediction 15 years from now?
I think one of the craziest things is to look at that rainbow chart on Rainbow. I think it's blockchainchart.net, and just noticing the logarithmic change in how Bitcoin's price rises in conjunction with, the halving cycles and all the other market cycles that are involved. And so I think, being close to 750, hitting 1 million, we had this discussion the other day about that, adding that extra zero. So if we do get into the 100,000s, you're going to have to add another 0 to 1 million. Is there going to be a ton of buy pressure and sell pressure right at that number to keep it under? I think between 600 and 800K is probably a pretty good bet.
All right, let's pull it up. I actually found the rainbow chart in the time you were talking about it. Now, this chart only goes to 2028, but the top of the rainbow chart, 550,000 to 730,000. Even if we're coming in the most bearish period, Hey, how would you like a $93,000 Bitcoin during the depths of the bear market? Bloodalytics, what are we getting for it
has the
15 years from now?
LGBT taken over Bitcoin as well? Is that what we're doing? We got rainbow charts?
Yeah, that's well. Plan B's in the chat right now. And OJ, I'll come to you after.
Okay.
Bloodalytics, what is the Bloodalytics 15 years from now?
Wow. I would have to say roughly around 500,000.
Okay,
And
500.
that's coming back down from 750.
Ooh,
You see what I'm saying?
I like that. I like that. I like
Okay,
that.
all right.
OJ, what is your number here?
Well, I'm gonna echo Blood. It's probably around 600K, I feel. But we only speculate. I mean, there's no way to really estimate it correctly. It just makes sense to me that it will be above 500K, below 1 million for sure.
All right. Well, RS Crypto says 1.6 million, so they're quite upset. Matt, what did you have a specific number again? You want to land on?
No, but I will say it would be interesting to
I
see
don't
it
blame
at
you.
750,000 on days like today when you see a 7% drop, because that's a lot of thousands of dollars.
It always reminds me of those memes. It's like,
70
Cardano
grand.
at $1, 2021. You're like, woo. And then it's like Cardano at $1, 2022. It's a rags to riches story. But speaking of rags to riches, IRS and the government and the feds, they want to throw you in jail if you just try to make even some measly riches. What are we talking about? We're talking about any transaction over 10K. Who did it come from? You got to know everything. You got to know their name. Heck, we got to know their social security number, folks. But who does this affect? Is this going to affect you? We can share my screen here. This is just the headline. Who is affected by the new crypto tax reporting obligations in the U.S.? Don't worry, folks. It is going to be businesses and professional traders that receive over 10K. You're going to need to report these transactions to the IRS. And if not, you're facing some felonies, folks. So, not looking very user-friendly, I would say. This bipartisan bill passed by Congress and then signed by Biden. And following this passage, they're gonna try to fix the reporting requirement, claiming that this was requiring brokers to be able to do their job, saying it's going to be impossible to collect a lot of this information. I want to just share this tweet. This tweet actually sums it up pretty well. Hey, it's Will Clemente. I was unable to get the address and social security number of Uniswap when I swapped my ETH to an ERC20 token, nor the protocol, which gave me the rewards for stoking the token after. Please advise. Matthew, that scenario plays out. What the heck is one supposed to do?
Yeah, this is an example of government trying to wrangle any taxes that they possibly can, knowing full well that most people are not going to certainly abide by it. They're trying to make it prohibitively difficult for people to use it, which I don't think is really going to happen. And the tweet points out a very good problem, which is how do you get an identity or any sort of information or AML, KYC, anti-money laundering, know your customer from a decentralized exchange, something that's not owned by anybody? Certainly this is a way for people to keep track of who they're doing business with, and that's really what it's designed to do. But it feels like really grasping at straws to try to get people to do this, mostly considering the fact that I would say the majority of people still have a hard time paying their own taxes using crypto. Good luck doing so on really large transactions, I suppose.
Yeah, and Flat Smack has a solution, I suppose, here. Go ahead, Flat Smack the like button if you like it. Abolish the IRS already. Who is with me? Now, OJ, you're overseas right now. We're talking about the IRS is going to serve you with felonies if you receive this transaction. And again, businesses, professional traders. But seeing this, I can't help but feel potential domino effect happening. Does this affect your willingness or, your want or your desire to travel to America or work in America in any kind of professional capacity?
Well, not exactly, because I don't really have business in America. When I go to America, it's usually for personal reasons, hanging out with friends and stuff like that. So I don't, and when I travel, I don't really report my crypto, even though they have this on the form you're filling in when you're entering. They have this where you should report if you have any cryptocurrencies with you in cold wallets and stuff like that. How they're going to check it, really? For the moment, I like to bypass these kind of restrictions. Unfortunately, they do catch up. And in the UK, for instance, there is now a lot of new restrictions that are coming in. People are restricted even from trading some of the low cap altcoins because they're too volatile, too risky. and stuff like that. They're blocking IPs of certain exchanges. And I mean, Europe is starting to be also very crypto hostile, unfortunately.
Very, very hostile globally seems to be the plan, everybody. Now, Crypto Blood, do you have any strategy for some of these exchanges, for some of these businesses? What would your strategy be if you're a CEO of an exchange or a crypto business? Are you going to fight it or are you going to comply with it?
I just gotta wait a minute. Okay. Yeah. Looks like all my cryptos got
I
lost in
hate
a
when
boating
that
crash.
happens.
I hate
hate with that.
I mean,
Yeah, that is the
I
worst.
mean, God, man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Hey, you know what? You might even
Got
be able
nothing
to
else to
report a
tell you,
loss
buddy.
now.
Yeah, I also died in the boat crash too. So double.
All right. I could make a joke about. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it. Boating accidents are tragedies. We don't want to make light of that. If you were, let's say, the Winklevi, I mean, what are you thinking right now, Crypto Blood? What's the Winklevi? I know we're trying to mind read here, but what's going through those two twins' heads? Not Austin and Aaron, the other ones.
As far as IRS and reporting their taxes,
are they complying? Are they having meetings? Are they saying, like maybe we just try to get a united front to stand against this? Or are we going to say, no, we're going to be the first to comply and kick out the other people?
Yeah. Well, typically, when you get to that upper echelon of money and power, the way you change things is through lobbying, right? So they're going to spend money. They'll pay the taxes, but what they'll do on the back end is spend money on lobbying these agencies and getting more favorable tax credits or tax laws for those individuals in that top tier. So that's what they'll do. And then, the little guys will be lost or left to, carry the burden. To be honest with you, it's just how this society is. It's unfortunate.
Good old whack-a-mole. We'll just have to wait for the newer entrants until the Fed comes in and smacks them down as well. And Flat Smack, you were correct in the reference there on the boating pilot, but it was actually his wife driving the boat, not him. Allegedly. Who knows? All right. I shouldn't even speculate on that. All right. Let's talk about why did crypto crash today? It's been a pretty bloody day. Very, very red. We're joking. It's Jim Cramer's fault. Of course, it's Jim Cramer's fault. He went bullish on Bitcoin literally yesterday. Not only that, Capo flipped long. So we had some of like the reverse indicators, quote unquote.
That's what everyone was telling me.
That's what everyone was saying. I don't know. But then there's also SEC rumors regarding the ETF denial from a Matrix port headline, which was then, shared by, I think, Cointelegraph or CoinDesk. I can't remember which of those coin articles did that, sharing it as almost like it was actually happening, even though it was an opinion piece. Matt, there's all types of reasons why Bitcoin. Of course, number one, some would say it's the shorts, right? Oh, all these people went long. Those longs got closed, got short squeeze, boom, sell pressure to the downside. Matt, if you just had to pin the tail on one donkey here, why did Bitcoin crash today?
I think it's a combination of a very fragile top and an overbought scenario right now. I think that you've had a lot of pumps that have come out, a lot of liquidity floating around, a lot of people taking out perpetuals, options, futures, leverage. And a lot of those things sort of came to head when you had this report come out, not even rumors about it. It's an analyst making a claim about scenarios that might happen if this ETF doesn't get approved, or if some get approved or don't get approved. So I found it sort of laughable today that this was a thing that caused, maybe a catalyst for the crash. But I think it's a lot of things together. A frothy market, very, very concerned about whether this binary situation, ETF, no ETF, is going to be present. And I think it's definitely a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event, not for long-term holders certainly, but I think it's a combination of things. And the market's a little bit fragile in an overbought scenario like we are in right now.
Oh, man, but Talib was right when he said anti-fragile. We have a couple awesome people in the chat. Of course, all the people, all the members, all the mods. We also got Rice Crypto. Make sure you check out his channel if you click on that. We love Rice. And Jason Casper, he has a hot take. Jim caused the dump 100%. Jason,
I have to disagree.
Me and Frank were watching your live stream in his office. Jason Casper, if you don't know who he is, he's the one, he's always walking. And he's walking to the bull market top, baby. And he's going to try to lead you there. But Jason Casper brings up a good point, Crypto Blood here. And Jim caused the dump. Jim Cramer caused the dump. Capo caused the dump. I want to ask you, can that speak itself into existence? If enough people say, oh my God, Capo is long, let me just go ahead and maybe take some profits, close a position. Oh my God, Jim Cramer's long, he's bullish. Let me go ahead and take some profits. Can that happen? Is there any validity to these claims?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, self-fulfilling prophecies for sure. You have a feedback loop that happens, but unfortunately, in this scenario, I have to disagree with Casper because the dump came 2 hours after the Matrix report came out. So, I mean, the correlation is clear. People were, kind of spooked, and you probably had some people take some profits just because, right? You had algos reading Twitter. So that's probably what happened. Now, of course, Jim Cramer is the ultimate contra indicator. So I understand that. And, one should definitely take note of what Jim Cramer said. But I think he said that 2 days ago or a day ago. So it wouldn't be that long of a delay. I'm banking it all on Matrix report, and if it's FUD or not, it is what it is. CoinDesk, we see they did that on was it October 16th? DZ said that the ETF was passed, and hey, I don't know what they're doing over there at CoinDesk.
Well,
man.
some say the intern is opening a lot of trades. I don't know. It's a fun story.
I don't know, man. It's weird.
Rice is going to be doing he's going to be doing a little Genesis Day on his channel, so make sure you check that out after this show. Now, OJ, Matt brought up a good point. The markets were getting a little greedy, a little frothy. I want to ask about what about now? We just got a lot of longs just got flushed out. A lot of people got shaken up. It's that opening scene in Saving Private Ryan. Our ears are ringing. Someone's shaking us. Capo's long. Capo's long. Is the market still greedy right now? Or, was this the retest we needed? And we, the brakes were pumped, but we're not going to crash.
Well, the market is still greedy. I just checked the Fear and Greed Index. We're at 70, which is actually a healthy greed. We're not in the 80s and 90s. I feel that this pullback was much needed. In fact, I was expecting a much bigger pullback. If the Matrix report was correct, and unfortunately it's just an assumption, they posted that report based on assumption what could happen. They were also pointing out towards a pullback towards 38K, which is my ideal accumulation zone. I would want to see us go down there, but I don't think we are ready to go there because people are still quite greedy, and there's a lot of appetite for Bitcoin when it drops to around 40,000. So we're not allowing it, the buyers are not allowing it to drop below 40K. But many coins were at local tops. Across the board, you were seeing, many markets getting to close to rejection points, resistance points. So it was inevitable that we're going to have a pullback. I feel that it's quite a small pullback, but it might be that tomorrow we're probably having another green day again. So we'll see how it goes. That Matrix report, by the way, Matrix is one of the big platforms in Asia. It's owned by Jihan Wu. If you remember, Jihan Wu used to own Bitmain. He left Bitmain to start Matrix and they're having a lot of institutional investors as well as retail. I'm a member of Matrix. You can earn interest on crypto there and do loans and all that kind of stuff. But that report was published to institutional investors. So maybe this is why it had a bit of an effect rather than many other reports that are based on just assumptions.
Yeah, rather than Bitcoin coins, alts.com net / or something.
I was just going to say really quickly, I told people this on my channel. I'll say this on your channel as well. I'm getting out Friday. I'm moving to the side on Friday because at this point, okay, what's your upside potential? Maybe another 10 to 15%, but on a denial or not even a denial. That's the thing. We're not going to get a denial. It's a delay that we'll get if it's something negative. Right. So if we get a delay, what is the downside? Like 40%, possibly 35 to 40%. So you gotta balance out your risk reward. And I'm just gonna go to the sidelines and just wait, man.
I like Why that.
Not? Now you never lose taking profits.
You never go broke taking profits. We're gonna go around the blockchain because this is a question a lot of people are asking. A lot of people are saying this is a certainty. And I'm talking about the pullback before the halving. Bitcoin pretty much every single time has had a significant pullback, 40% on the low end. It gets even scarier, 50, 60% pullbacks we've seen. Will Bitcoin get a pullback of, let's just say 30%? Will we see a 30% pullback before the halving? What's your best guess? I'll start with Blood, then OJ, then Matt. Blood, do you think we'll see the 30% pullback before April?
Yes, and it may be on this ETF delay.
Okay,
That would
I
be a
actually
perfect
like
setup.
this theory. OJ, will we see the 30% pullback before April?
As much as I would like to see a 30% pullback, I feel that maybe 20 is the most we're going to get.
Okay. I also like that answer. Nuanced. Matt, will we see? Sorry, I'll call you Matthew. It says Matthew up there. Matthew, my cousin's name is Matt. So, Matthew, will we see the 30% pullback?
This is where I take the $1 approach on Price is Right and say it's actually 25. It's actually not 20 or 30. It's the 25%. But in all seriousness, I think that we're definitely going to see some healthy pullback. I look forward to it, and investors should be keeping in mind exactly what Blood is talking about. Have cash on the side, take some profits. That's why they're profits. They're not profits unless you take them. So try to figure out what the momentum is here. Trend is your friend kind of thing. Don't try to anticipate events as best you can. But this one is definitely binary, and that's the scary part. It's like the difference between medical regulations being issued for a particular stock, and people are betting on whether or not they're going to be the new cancer treatment or the new what's the new blood testing agent Theranos, right? They're
Is this the
thinking
next
that these
Elizabeth
things.
Holmes company?
Yeah. It's too binary. It's a very scary thing. I'm long all day, so I've got cash, to continue dollar cost averaging. I don't really have a problem with it either way, but we need the stepstones. We need this to go in a nice, smooth trajectory. Little bits of bounces here and there is totally fine, but keep your head in the game. There's nothing disrupting this.
Yeah. Keep your cash on the sidelines. I bought a little Tia today. I increased my Celestia exposure. It's just one I've been eyeing. You see a red day like this, you have that money on the sidelines. You feel bad on the X green weekly candle, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th. You're just like, oh my God, I should have deployed. But then when you see opportunities, then you're able to step in and, fill that gap, everybody. And make sure you fill that gap on the like button. Let's get these likes up, folks. We are putting out really, really great content with these 3 guests. These are all phenomenal guests with great takes. And we have links to their content down below in the description. Make sure you follow all their social medias. Make sure you follow their YouTube. Make sure you follow them on X, everything else they got posting. Give them a like, give them a comment. Let's increase their engagement as well, because we appreciate them coming out here. But we appreciate you watching as well. So go ahead, give yourself a little pat, give yourself a little like button there. And OJ, we'll go ahead and give you the final word here since you're coming in from Argentina. What is the vibe on the ground with a pro-Bitcoin president taking office? Is Argentina bullish?
Argentina is bullish, actually. Is very bullish. They're already talking about following in the footsteps of El Salvador. I'm not sure whether this is a lot of just media hype, or is it based on some real possibilities. We'll see how it goes. But the economy is really bad here, so people are looking for any kind of escape. And I feel that Bitcoin is one of those things that they are considering. People.
All right. And this is translated, so I'll end with my favorite Javier Milei quote. He's the presidential about to take office, I think, pretty soon in Argentina. If printing
he's a Trump
money,
Argentinian, right?
Yeah, he's the Trump of Argentina. Here's my favorite quote from him here. If printing money fixed poverty, printing diplomas would fix stupidity. And that's all we got to say, folks. Make sure you hit that like button. We'll see you tomorrow morning.